Have a look at that. Okay, thanks everybody. So let's look at today's topic. All right, let me know, chat, when you hear something, if the sound comes back, okay? Hi everybody, no sound, no sound. Any? Okay, it's on, it's good. Okay, good. So let's take a look at the wolf in sheep's clothing for today, a classic folk tale. Okay, so let's get into today's reading topic. Good, it's fixed. Thanks, everybody. Once there was a wolf who wanted to catch sheep without attracting attention. He observed the flock carefully and noticed how closely the shepherd guarded them. The sheep stayed near one another and were frightened by anything unfamiliar. The wolf realized that he could not attack them openly. One day, he found a sheepskin that had been left behind. He put it on and cautiously walked toward the flock. From a distance, he looked exactly like one of the sheep. The shepherd did not notice anything suspicious. The wolf joined the flock and moved among them silently. When night fell, the shepherd led the sheep into the pen. The wolf followed them inside without being detected. In the darkness, he selected a sheep and attacked it. But the shepherd heard the noise and rushed over at once. When he saw the unusual sheep, he immediately understood the truth. The wolf was caught and was unable to escape. He learned that deception can lead to danger. Okay, so today we're going to look at the key vocabulary words in this story. Maybe you already know this story, which is great, but today we're going to look at some of the unusual or less common vocabulary words that we see in this story that are also commonly used in other stories. All right, so if you have any questions during today's lesson, or my recommendation, if you want to practice making an example sentence with one of the new vocabulary words, put that in the chat and I will try to check it live. Okay. Hello to everyone who has joined. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the messages. Hi, Patrick and Natalie. Claudemir from Brazil. Duber, hello. Dubercel, hi. Rocky, what's up, everybody? I don't see Facebook comments yet. Hi, Facebook. Okay, let's go into our vocabulary for today. So the first one is attracting attention. Attracting attention. This one means that someone is doing something like a performance. Oops, my pen didn't work there. Someone is doing something that many people notice, right? In this picture, this person is attracting attention. So let's break down this phrase so you can understand the parts of it. First, we have in attracting. So attracting is the ing form of the verb attract, to attract right here. To attract means to cause something like to come to you or to cause something to be known to people. So when we attract something, we cause other people to notice it, right? So when we attract attention, it means other people notice us because we are doing something, right? So if you see a street performer, they are attracting attention. If someone in, let's say, your work or your school shouts something crazy, they are attracting attention. So attention means all the people's focus. This maybe is difficult to see. This person is pointing, right? So our attention, our energy, our eyes go to that person or to that situation. So to attract attention can be good or it can be negative. Maybe it's a fight that can attract attention, right? Or maybe it's a performance that attracts attention also, okay? So to attract attention is in the story at the very beginning. Let's check it out. Where was attracting attention? There it is. In the story, here is where we saw it. There was a wolf who wanted to catch a sheep without attracting attention. In this situation, the wolf wanted to get a sheep without. That means the wolf wanted to get a sheep and not attract attention, okay? So the aim was not to get the shepherd's attention here, okay? All right, let's continue. I don't see any questions. Hello, everyone joining. Hi, Edgar from Mozambique, and Gomez Bianca, maybe, from Sao Paulo. What's up? And Taruka. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's go to the next vocabulary word, which is observed. Observed. I think we had this maybe in a live stream last month, so maybe a little review. I think our picture last month was the a person using a telescope to look at the stars. This time we have the reverse. Observed. This one is in past tense, observed, but observe, to observe something means to watch carefully. To watch carefully, right? In this case, a security camera looking at this woman, which is a little strange, but to observe, this means to watch carefully, and when we observe, it sounds like we watch carefully over time, yeah? So not only for one moment, right? That's just we look at something. When we observe, we watch carefully over time. So, for example, in the story, it says the wolf observed the sheep over many days, over many weeks, okay? To watch carefully over time. We can also do this in science situations. I mentioned using a telescope to look at the stars. We can observe the stars or observe the movements of planets, right? So that's an example of watching carefully over time, right? So when we observe something, we're trying to get information about what we are looking at, yeah? So observe was in the story in this sense. Okay. Patrick wrote, flock. Is it similar, that kind of rain that happens during winter? In the story, he calls sheep flocks. Ah, great question. Yes, unrelated to this topic, but good question, Patrick. About, where was that? Oh, it's in a few, sorry, it's in a few sentences. Here we go. Perfect question, Patrick. We have observed here. And then this is the word that Patrick asked the question about, the flock. Okay, so this is this is how big should I go on this topic? There are animals, I should say, many animals have a special name for a group of that animal, okay? So a flock is a group of sheep, okay? So many different animals have different words that they use to talk about, what did I say? Many different animals, there are different words to talk about a group of that type of animal. Yes, exactly. Birds are also called a flock of birds. So a flock can be used to mean a group of something. We have different types of words. For example, cows, we say a herd of cows, okay? So there are some kind of strange ones, yes, but we usually have a few like these, like a flock or a herd. If you don't know, you can say a group of sheep, but flock specifically is used to mean usually birds. I'm trying to think. I would maybe say herd in this case. He observed the flock carefully. I might say herd for this story, but maybe it's up to personal preference here. Personally, I probably would use flock for birds more, a group of birds. But yes, we can also use it in other situations. So I hope that answers your question, Patrick. Thank you, good one. Okay, so we talked about observed. In this case, the wolf is watching the flock carefully, right? He's watching the group of sheep carefully over time to understand their patterns. Okay, let's continue to the next word. The next word is guarded. Ah, yes. Okay, guarded. So here we have guarded because that's the form that was used in the story. The root here is guard. This is an interesting one. This person here is a guard, okay? But this is a guard. But this is used, we can use this is a verb, yeah? So let's talk about just the simple past tense form of this. To guard something means to use people or to use security cameras, to use a special system like this in a bank to protect something, to take action to make something secure or to make something protected, yeah? We also have this, a guard. This person, his job is guard. This is a noun. So we have this as a noun to mean a person's job. I am a guard. He is a guard. There are two guards at the bank. And we can use this as a verb, to guard. For example, he is guarding the bank, or the guards are guarding the money, which is kind of silly. But we can use this as a verb and as a noun. It explains people who are protecting something or keeping something safe, okay, to guard. So in this story, we saw guard in, here we go. We noticed, the flock carefully and noticed how closely the shepherd guarded them. So in this situation, the shepherd is guarding the sheep, right? The shepherd is making sure the sheep are safe, yeah? So in this case, the shepherd guarded them, where them is the sheep, okay? All right, let's continue to the next vocabulary word. Nimolje wrote security. Yes, it is closely related to security. Next one, maybe a review word for you. Frightened. Frightened. Frightened means scared or afraid. But it's less used in everyday communication. Frightened, for me, personally, frightened is a little more formal. Oh, you frightened me. It sounds a little old-fashioned. Maybe that's an American English thing. But frightened means scared. I would say in everyday communication, I was so scared, or oh my gosh, you scared me, or I was afraid. These two words, depending on the grammar of your sentence, are more commonly used in quick everyday speech. Frightened sounds a little more formal, maybe a little bit old-fashioned, but we can use it to talk about the same feelings, right? He is frightened. Another important point to note, we can use this as an adjective, that's okay, and we can use this as a verb also. Both are possible, okay? So frightened, I just said, I was frightened. That's the adjective form. I was frightened. As a verb, you could say, oh, you frightened me. You caused me to feel fear, okay? So this word can be an adjective or a verb. Let's look at how we used it in the story. Frightened was, where was that one? Frightened, frightened. I have to go back further. Okay. Okay, here we go. The sheep stayed near one another and were frightened by anything unfamiliar. Let's break down this section because maybe it's a little strange. First, notice the preposition used here. Frightened by. Okay, this is how we show the source of the scary feeling, right? So the sheep, here is our subject. Let's just forget about this for right now. The sheep were frightened by anything unfamiliar, okay? Anything, and then unfamiliar means not familiar. A different way to say this is the sheep felt scared when they saw something they didn't know about, right? They saw something strange or unusual. Not familiar means they don't know what that thing is, and that makes the sheep feel scared. The sheep were frightened by anything unfamiliar. So this by is the preposition we use to show the source of the fear when we use the word frightened, okay? When we use the word scared or afraid, we use of. The sheep were scared of anything unfamiliar, or the sheep were afraid of anything unfamiliar. Why does the preposition change? I would need to do some research to know the specifics of that. But please note, you can write in your notes, if you want to use frightened, you will use the preposition by. I suppose you can use of, frightened of anything. You might hear some people say, I was frightened of that thing. But you will also hear by. So maybe there's a little bit of flexibility with this one. Okay, let's continue to our next word, which is realized. Realized, maybe a review word for many of you. So realized, let's use this. I think we have this as a past tense verb in the story, if I remember correctly. Anyway, to realize something, this person is going like this. It's kind of a funny picture. So to realize something is like the moment, imagine you've been thinking about a problem for a long time. Oh, what should I do? What should I do? And then, oh, I know the answer. I know what to do. That moment, we can say, oh, I realized the answer. So this is like understanding something after some struggles, or understanding something after thinking about it, okay? So to understand something after, usually after struggle or after a puzzle, okay? To understand something after a challenge, okay? To realize something. So this is different from solve. Like we could say, you know, I solved the puzzle, right? That sounds like, but that sounds like the goal was to, it was supposed to be difficult. It was supposed to be a strange challenge, right? So we say the detective solved the mystery, or they solved the game, okay? But when we realize something, it's like, oh, it was just in our mind, right? We just had to think about that thing. Maybe we didn't have to take action, maybe, but we had to think about something for a long time. Oh, I realized I had the money in my wallet the whole time. So something that we think about or something we discover as well. But to realize something this verb is used for that moment when we go, ah, I understand now. So let's look at how this word is used in the story. Okay. Where is realized? Here we go. The wolf realized that he could not attack them openly. Here is realized. So what does this mean? What's the context here? We saw the wolf learned the sheep were frightened by anything unfamiliar, right? So the wolf realized, meaning after observing the sheep for some time, after thinking about it for some time, the wolf went, ah, okay, I can't attack them openly. I think this is our next word. I can't attack them openly. So that's the moment where you go, oh, okay, I understand now. Yeah? This is how we use the verb realize. Okay, let's move on to the next word. I think it is openly. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, openly. This is a good picture. Openly. This one's a hard one to create a picture for. But openly, maybe let's review this one in the sentence. It would be nice to have an example for this one. Openly. Okay. Cannot attack them openly. So open is the root here. We have open. Yeah? Like open a door. But when we use openly, it means in a manner that other people can see, right? So in this case, we're using this as an adverb, right? So in a manner, or in a way that other people can see, okay? So openly gets used a lot to talk about situations where someone is doing something that might be maybe sometimes shameful, or that might be a little embarrassing, or maybe it's funny, something a little bit unusual or a little bit different. In this case, it's a very serious situation, talking about attacking sheep openly. That means attacking sheep in a way that other people could see, or in this case, that people could see. It's a wolf, right? So when we say doing something openly, it sounds like the opposite of hiding that thing, yeah? So when we do something openly, it's like we're saying, oh, I'm going to just show you how I feel, or I'm going to show you this behavior, okay? All right. I don't see any questions, so let's go. Interesting point, control desk. Maybe kind of an opposite, not quite a perfect opposite of secretly, but it can be helpful. if we do something secretly, we want to hide it. It's not this is not a perfect one, but if we do something openly, it means it's okay for other people to do it, or we haven't thought about it very much. Sometimes we read stories of people making very strange decisions in public. Anyway, let's go to the next word, which is, ta-da, cautiously. Cautiously. You'll note that we're seeing these ly endings, cautiously, and we have a root here, cautious. The previous one was openly. So ly is a common adverb ending, yeah? So when we do something cautiously, it means to do something in a manner that is very safe, yeah? We use caution in that verb, yeah? So to do something with caution, okay? Or rather, doing something with caution. To do something with caution, okay? So our example picture here shows this person using a ladder and very cautiously putting a vase on a shelf, okay? So we can describe this as putting the vase on the shelf cautiously. Maybe you know the word carefully. That sounds about the same, carefully, right? Notice this one also ends in ly, another adverb, okay? So cautiously and carefully have kind of the same feel, yeah? When we do something cautiously or carefully, we want to make sure everything is safe, yeah? Okay, let's continue to the next one because time's running out. Suspicious. Suspicious. This is an adjective. Suspicious. This is a good picture for suspicious. Suspicious means that something strange is happening. It's a little unusual, a little strange, and it looks a little secret. Like it looks kind of like they're doing something secretly, right? So something that is suspicious is something that makes you think, what's going on there? Okay, so we see suspicious used in the story to talk about, here. The shepherd did not notice anything suspicious. So that means the shepherd did not notice anything strange, did not notice anything that made him think, something is wrong here, right? So suspicious is a common word used in public situations. Often, for example, at the airport, you'll see a sign that says, if you see something suspicious, or if you see a suspicious person, please report it. So that means if you see a strange person, if you see something or you see someone acting in a strange manner, please report that. All right, time has gone quick as always, so let's cruise on. Detected. Let's look at this as a verb in the past tense form. Detected, past tense. The root here is detect, detect. So to detect something means you were searching for something. In this case, a security guard is searching for someone. And then when you find it, you say, I detected it. I detected a problem, or I detected the suspicious person, yeah? So when you find, so this means to find the target, okay? To find the target of something. So maybe you can use this in like a shooting game, right? When you are looking for the target and maybe on your screen it says target detected. That means you found the target, right? Same thing here. When you detect when you find the thing you are searching for, you can say, I detected it. So the guard detected the suspect. If you use like computers and programming, maybe you have to detect bugs, right? You have to look for and find the problem. So we can use the verb detect to do that. Okay. Let's continue because time's going quick. Deception. Deception. This one's difficult, but good image here. Deception. First, this is a noun. Deception is a noun. It's used here. Deception is the process of hiding something and keeping the true form like very different from the form you show. So this story is a great example of deception. Let's see. Oh my gosh, where is deception in the story? I think it's at the end, actually. Let me skip to the end. There we go. The wolf learned that deception can lead, to danger. Let me find a picture of the wolf in the clothing. So this is showing us, this right here is deception, okay? Deception is hiding something from others, right? But showing a different version. So in this case, the wolf is hiding his true self, his or her true self, and showing this sheep's version, showing, oh, I'm peaceful, I'm safe to other people. This kind of thing is what's called deception. You're hiding one true fact, or many true facts, and showing something that is not true, right? So we can do this in many different situations, like a job contract. There could be deception in the job contract. Like the contract says X, Y, Z, but the true job is very different. This is also deception. So it means hiding one thing, showing something different in order to achieve a goal. This is called deception. Okay, let's continue. Oh my gosh, time has gone so fast. In case you missed it, or in case you weren't here. This is the team's amazing deal this week. Get 45% off, oh my gosh, at EnglishClass101.com. You can get this forever. That means you don't ever have to do more than 45%. If you want the details, click the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. Control Desk is showing you all of the details here now. If you want to get more study tools, flashcards, transcripts of things, there's so many different features, so many different benefits for you. Oh my gosh. So please check the details from this page here. Okay, let's continue super quick because I know there's not a lot of time left. Let's cover some sentence patterns we saw in the story. There was singular noun who. This is a common way to begin a story. In this example, we have there was singular noun, a wolf, who, right? Or maybe you hear in other stories, there was a little girl who, or there was a little boy who, right? These are very common ways to begin folk tales and common cultural stories in English, right? You might also hear, there once was a man who, right? There once sounds like a long time ago. That's an old-fashioned way to begin a story. Okay, let's go to the next pattern, wanted to plus verb. I think this is a very basic sentence pattern. So wanted to plus verb we can use to talk about lots of different things that we desire to do, like wanted to learn guitar or wanted to speak English, as in many, I hope many of you want to speak English. So when we talk about this in past tense, we need to remember the ed ending. Wanted to blah. Wanted to verb. Wanted to learn. Wanted to speak. Wanted to cook. Wanted to eat, right? Don't forget your past tense verb form there. Okay, let's go to could not plus base form verb, right? This pattern explains something we do not have an ability to do, but this is used in the past, right? So in this situation, he could not reach the book, okay? Or I could not reach her on the phone. Or I could not finish my report yesterday. So we use could not for past tense. In most situations, we'll just say couldn't. I couldn't reach him, or I couldn't contact her, or I couldn't finish the report. So please reduce this to sound more natural. Could not. Okay, the next one, when, this is maybe seems strange, bear with me, when plus past simple plus past simple. This is used to show a sequence of events, okay? So, for example, when the phone rang, as in the picture, when the phone rang is a simple past tense structure, right? Nothing fancy here. When the phone rang, he jumped. This shows another simple past tense structure, right? When the phone rang, he jumped. If you have joined my lessons for, I don't know, a few years, you will know that we've practiced this kind of thing. When is used to show the point of interruption, okay? When the phone rang, he jumped. or when our boss arrived, we started the meeting, right? It shows a change in behavior. This when is used to mark that. If you have questions about that, you can look at the YouTube channel or at EnglishClass101.com for more details. Woo. Let's go to, how many more do we have? Oh my gosh, quiz, okay. Last one, be unable to plus base verb. Okay, this one is more, I would say this pattern is less conversational, right? So for an example, we could say like, I was unable to cook the recipe, let's say. There was something wrong with the recipe. I was unable to cook the recipe. This is a kind of stiff way to say I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't cook that recipe. We practice this one here, right? This one is more conversational, but you might see this form in something like news, where it's important to be more formal, more neutral, yeah? So I was unable to cook the recipe. Notice that this cook, this is really just the infinitive form here, to plus base form. But I was unable to cook the recipe, okay? So we can use both of these to talk about something we were not able to do. Okay, we'll finish very quickly with the quiz. Sorry to rush at the end. There's a lot of vocabulary to get through. Why did the wolf want to wear a sheep's skin? A, he wanted to stay warm. B, he wanted to hide among the sheep. C, he wanted to trick the shepherd into feeding him. Or D, he wanted to leave the forest. The answer here is he wanted to hide among the sheep. Among is similar to between, but between is used for two things, right? If I say the pen is between my arms, it's because there are two arms. We use between. Among is used for a group of things. So among the sheep means there's a group of sheep and you want to be in that group. Okay, that's the quick difference. Great, people wrote B. Nicely done. Let's quickly go to the next one. Why did the wolf believe his plan would work? A, the sheep trusted every animal. B, the shepherd was asleep. C, he looked like a sheep from a distance. And D, the pen was empty. The answer is C. He looked like a sheep from a distance. From a distance means from far away. When you look at something from far away, you look at something from a distance. Always with this. From a distance. Always use that one. Let's go to the next one. What happened when night fell? This is a word that means when night came or when night arrived. We only use this at nighttime, not for mornings. Okay? The sheep ran away. B, the shepherd led the sheep into the pen. C, the wolf removed the skin. Or D, the shepherd left the farm. This one, B, the shepherd led the sheep into the pen. Okay. Patrick asks, what is pen in this question? Great one. I hope I have enough time to cover this. Let's do it quickly. I hope there's a picture. I think there was a picture in here. Pen. This is the pen. The container, the sheep container. This enclosure, but that's a typical word. So this right here is what pen means. This is a way to say the place where you keep your animal. You might have a pen for your dog or pen for your bird, right? Well, for bird, it's a cage, really. A pen doesn't have a top on it. A cage has a top, maybe a bottom, too. So this is a pen. I hope that answers your question. Okay, let me go to the last one. I think it's the last one. Oh my gosh. Okay, how was the wolf discovered? The sheep began to shout. B, the skin fell off. C, the shepherd heard noise in the darkness. Or D, the dogs smelled him. This one is C. The shepherd heard noise in the darkness. All right, I think this is our last one. What lesson did the wolf learn in the end? A, hunger makes animals brave. B, sheep are easy to fool. C, deception can lead to danger. And D, shepherds are always careless. So in the story, we said C, deception can lead to danger, but I think B is also true. Sheep are probably pretty easy to fool as well. Okay, let's go to the end. Today we are finished at last. Phew, a little bit late. We covered lots of things. Don't forget, the team has an amazing forever discount at EnglishClass101.com. Yay, we love love it. So check this out from the link below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, above the video, Facebook. Next week, I'll be back. Next week, we're going to talk about key phrases for eating at a restaurant with a friend. So please join me next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. If you don't know your local time, please Google it or set a notification on Facebook or on YouTube so you get a pop-up when we start. We'll end there for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading practice. Thanks very much for liking and sharing the video as well. I hope that you have a great day and a great week and a great weekend, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.